What's up, ambitious fam? Welcome back. If you've been following the journey thus far, welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Dominique Galloway and I'm starting my second year medical school in a week, which is wild. This summer went by way too quick, but yeah, I think it's finally time that I show you guys how to use Anki because I have been getting a lot of questions about it and people have asked me to make this specific video for you all. So I know a lot of you guys are starting medical school this year or just wanting to start in the future, and I've talked about Anki so many times on this channel. I love it. I use it all the time. So it is time for me to finally break it down and give you guys a beginner's tutorial on how to use it, how to download it, all that stuff. So let's get into it, you guys. First things first, I'm going to just explain what Anki is because you may be someone that has no idea, you've never heard the word before, and that was pretty much me up until like a couple months before med school started, and I was doing my research on YouTube, on Google, probably what you're doing right now, and I was just trying to figure out what is the best way to study in medical school, what are the best tools, best resources, what are people doing, and that's when I came across Anki, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try my best to learn as much as possible about this, this app so that I can implement it into my routine right away, and that is what I did, and so far it has been great. So if you don't know what it is, guys, I'm actually going to read what Google says it is and then I'll elaborate for you. Anki is a free and open source flashcard program using spaced repetition, a technique from cognitive science for fast and long-lasting memorization. Anki is a Japanese word for memorization, which I actually had no idea. That's super dope. So it's essentially a flashcard app in which you can create your own cards or you can download cards. And if it's your first time seeing that card, it's called a new card. And if you get it correct, you'll probably see it tomorrow. If you get it correct tomorrow, you'll probably see it in 3 days. If you get it correct in 3 days, you'll probably see it in a week. So essentially the time in between those cards, if you get it correct, gets longer and longer. But if you don't know the card and you get it wrong, then you'll probably see it the next day, and you'll probably see it more often because you don't know that card as well. So I love Anki because I pretty much just trust the algorithm. Like, I feel like I don't have to ever wake up and decide, okay, what am I studying today? Like, what do I have to focus on? What do I know? What do I don't know? Anki pretty much does all that for me, so I can just wake up and just trust the fact that I'm working on the things that I don't know more often than the things that I do know. So we don't have that much time in medical school. We have a lot of information, and you don't want to spend the time that you do have on things that you pretty much already know very well over the things that you don't know as much. So that's what Anki is. Now let's get into how to download it and how to use it. Okay, you guys, so first thing I want to do is download Anki. So I typed in Anki on Google. You'll get to this page. You'll see this as the first thing. You click on it. You go to download, and then you'll see all these different options to download Anki. So onto your Windows, your Mac, you have these different versions of it. And yeah, you also can download it onto your iPhone and your iPad, but I do believe it's $25 you want to download it onto your iPhone and iPad. But for me, I find it totally worth it because it's very convenient to be able to just sync up your cards onto different devices. So you can just multitask whenever you go out or you go to the gym or whatever the case may be. So I highly recommend. So once you click on one of these options, you press onto your downloads, and then you'll get to here. So you'll get to your Anki screen. Obviously, you won't see all of this because I have all my decks here, my add-ons, my background, but you'll see this screen and you'll see these buttons right here. So decks is what we're looking at. So I have my decks here, and you'll see your new cards, your learned cards, and then your due cards. So these are the cards that you're reviewing that you already have done. Learn cards are the ones that you're currently learning, and then new cards are the ones that you haven't even looked at yet. The next button is your add button. So guys, I'm gonna let you guys know I never create my own card, so I'm not the best person to show you how to create your own card or deck. However, I'll give you guys the most basic tutorial. Definitely do more research though, because I'm sure there's better ways to create cards if you want to do that. So yeah, so first thing is we have all these different options of the type of card you want to create. So basic is that simple card, front and back, Quizlet version of a flashcard. So let's see. Okay, so have you subscribed to Stay Ambitious? The answer is yes. So I'm gonna create this card and I'm gonna put it into a new deck. I'm gonna call it YouTube and I'm gonna add it. So I'm gonna close it you'll see it pop up on the bottom. Have you subscribed to Stay Ambitious? The answer is yes. All right, I got that correct. So at the bottom, you'll see all these different options now for your algorithm. So since I got it correct, I will click good. If I didn't get it correct, I would click again. Personally, I never use hard and easy. I feel like I don't see the card as many times as I would like to. If I click easy and hard, I don't know. If I don't know it, I'm just gonna click again. That's just how I work. But of course, you can use it the way you wanna use it. So since I got it correct, I'm gonna click good. And then it's gonna say, congratulations, you have finished this deck. So that was a basic card. I'm gonna let you guys know though, most people do not use the basic card. There's so many other options, and I'm sure better options out there for your cards. One type of card that I know most medical students use is the close deletion option. So this is pretty much a fill in the blank. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to use it. Hold on. Okay, so this is the format of how close deletion works. So these are the different fill in the blanks that I have. You also have like an extra, so you could add a photo, you can add a slide from a lecture, something that will allow you to just get more context on the card. So this is the card that I have. I'm gonna add it to my YouTube deck right here. And then you'll see, it'll pop up and I have subscribed to Stay Ambitious. Okay, I got that correct. Good. I've subscribed to Stay Ambitious. Got that correct. Great. So congratulations, you have finished this deck. So one last thing I know that or a lot of medical students use is the image occlusion. Personally, I'm not even sure how to even show you guys how to use it, but I know it's the perfect type of card, especially for anatomy, because if you have a structure of, let's say, the forearm, and you have all the different muscles, and you have names of the muscles on the photo, you want to be able to block out the different names so that you're just testing yourself on one muscle at a time. So definitely look into that. There's better ways to, I'm sure there's people out there that have shown you how to do it, but that's another type of card that you can use for anatomy, but also any other subject as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you when it comes to creating cards. I'm sorry, I'm not the best person, but I'm gonna delete this deck right now. The next thing after that, guys, is browse. So here is pretty much all the different cards and decks that are stored on your Anki. So for me, I have Anking, I have CPM, I have Spanish, I have my when I took NASM Certified Personal Training. For my school-made deck, this is it right here. I also have UB Medical Spanish. So this is all the decks that I have. So if I want to unlock a deck, right now it's not unlocked, right? So if I wanna, watch the lecture, do these cards right after I watch the lecture, I'm gonna go to here, click on it, press Command A, then press Command J. And then essentially they will show up on my deck screen, and then I can start that deck. So this is what it would look like, and that's how it works. Also at the bottom, when you go scroll all the way to the left side on the bottom, there's all these different tags. This is very convenient as well. So in the Anking deck, for instance, we have all these different tags that you can use. You can even search up a word, and it'll just kind of bring up all the different cards that have that word in it or have like that word tagged, I believe. And if you want to go to a specific tag, so Boards and Beyond, I just watched my first video on Boards and Beyond today. So I watched the video, and then I basically wanted to unlock the cards from that video. So if I watched cardiac physiology today, right after I watch it, I'm gonna do Command A, Command J again, and then unlock those cards and then do them immediately after. So it's just super convenient. Command A, Command J. Yeah, so I'm gonna lock it because I haven't watched it yet, but it's super convenient because all these tags are already down here, either for sketchy, so we have sketchy micro, we have pathoma, and you can just watch the video and then immediately right after do the cards that are correlated to that video. Next, we have stats. I personally never ever even look on this button, but I believe it's just statistics. I don't really know what what to really get out of this, but yeah, you could use it if you want to. I think it just shows you kind of what you've done in your reviews, your learning. I'm not really sure, but that's stats and then sync. So I did mention that you can have different devices for your cards. So I have 8 cards right now. So for instance, this one, honestly, I don't know this one because I just did it today. So I'm gonna press again, right? But right now I have 7 cards. If I want to just get up and go to the gym and finish out these cards on the treadmill, what I will do is I will sync these cards, and this will essentially allow what I've done to be uploaded to the internet. And then once I go to my iPad, I can press synchronize and it'll download it to my iPad, so I'm not doing the wrong cards on my iPad. I'm gonna show you on my camera how to do that on my iPad real quick. So here is my iPad right now. This is the last thing that I've done on my iPad. I think you can see it's 9 cards. So if I want to synchronize it, I click synchronize right here. And I believe, yeah, so now you see that there's 7 cards. Next, I'm gonna show you guys how to add add-ons to your Anki. So up here, you'll see that we have tools. You'll click on add-ons, and here are all the different add-ons that I have. So this is kind of how you download these add-ons. So I press view add-on page, but you won't do this. Just type on Google the name of the add-on, type in add-on code Anki, and then it'll get you to a certain page. You'll scroll down and you'll see the code right here. So if I want to download this code, I will Command C, copy it, I'll press get add-on, I'll press Command V, and then I'll press OK, and it'll download it onto my Anki. I think a notification will pop up right after that saying that you'll have to exit out of Anki and come back on so that it just syncs up, but that's all you'll have to do. So that's one code for you. The other code I highly recommend is the review heat map. So this is the code right here. So these are the different descriptions about the heat map. You'll go down, you'll Command C this, and then you'll go to get add-on, and you'll press Command V and press OK. Also, guys, I have a background. So personally, I haven't changed this background in so long, and I have to look up how to even do that. But you'll have the custom background image and gear icon add-on. So you go to the view add-on page for that one. So here are all the different options that you can do. So you go down, once again, here's the code, and you'll add it. One last thing that I do want to mention is the Postpone cards review. So this is something I don't recommend just using all the time. When it comes to Anki, I pretty much use this every single day, and I highly recommend using it every day because you want to make sure you're following the algorithm and you want to make sure that you're retaining the information as much as possible. So I rarely, if ever, postpone my cards, but definitely this summer, I did it quite often because, you know, it's summertime. I don't need to be doing my cards. I'm on break. So there's a few times that I postponed it. But also, if let's say I had an exam today and I really just want to take a break tomorrow, I'm not going to look at anything. And so this is the add-on page for the Postpone cards. This is the code. So I highly recommend downloading it for those, you know, very minimal times that you need to use it. So I go to my deck, and if I want to postpone my cards, it'll show up right here. And let's say I'm gonna miss tomorrow, right? I don't need to do anything right now. So for instance, tomorrow comes, I don't do any cards because I want to take an entire break. So the next day, usually you'll see a lot more cards because all the cards shifted to that next day. So if I want to just act like I never missed a day and go back to the day before, I'm just going to press +1, and it'll just take me to the day prior. So right now, I don't think it'll really do anything because I already did yesterday, but I'm going to make sure I actually don't mess up with my algorithm right now. So yeah, if you want to postpone your cards and you want to go to the day prior, like if you missed yesterday and you don't want to have a whole bunch of cards to do today, you go to postpone and you press +1. Or if you want to postpone 2 days, do +2. So yes, that is how you'll be able to do it. So next, I'm going to show you guys my settings for my decks. So right here, I'm going to go to options, and this is how it looks. So I think yours may be a little different, but just make sure you're following, like right here, this is for daily limits, this is for new cards, lapses. I think yours may show up on the top, the different options, but this is just my settings just to give you guys an idea of something you may want to do for yours. I have been using this since day one. I don't think I've ever changed my settings, and it's worked perfectly for me. So for new cards per day and maximum reviews per day, I have now 9,999. So pretty much as many cards as possible. Like there's no limit in the new cards that I can have. And this is the learning step. So When I first see a card for the first time, guys, I'll have the 25 minutes option, the 1-day option for good, and the 3-day option for easy. So this is what I would recommend for your new cards, but you know, look into what works best for you. You can do whatever you'd like, but this is what my settings are. Also, guys, a lot of these different options, I actually have no idea what they mean. So honestly, I can't really explain it, but you can just take a look, and if you want to, you know, use my exact settings, that is totally fine. So next I'm going to show you guys my preferences. So that's going to be up here. Press on preferences and you'll see that these are the different options. Once again, I can't explain everything on here, but one thing I will say is, okay, this option right here, show new cards after reviews. I highly recommend doing that one because personally, I believe your reviews are way more important than your new cards. So if you wake up, what I do in the morning is I wake up, I do my reviews first, and then I do my new cards afterwards. And that just makes it so if you end up somehow not finishing your cards that day, you at least did your review cards. And if you have new cards or you didn't do, okay, that's fine. You'll do them the next day. But you don't want to make your review cards just keep piling up each and every day. You want to make sure you finish at least your due cards for that day. Oh yeah, so I also show the review time above my answer buttons. For me, that's very important because I want to make sure that I'm just doing something enough times within a period that I need to do it. So if I have an exam in 2 weeks and somehow something says in 2 weeks I'll see it, that won't be beneficial to me because I won't even see it before my exam. So I feel like it's important for me to see the time frame so that I'm doing it, you know, enough times before that time frame, or for some odd reason if something just messes up on Anki or on my settings, that I'll be able to see, okay, something's wrong with the time frame, let me go ahead and change it. And then show remaining card count. You know, that's important for me. Like, I don't want to be guessing how many cards I have left. So that's something I do. And then we have network, backups. This is my options, and then load balancer. Next, guys, I do want to actually go back and show you guys what decks I highly recommend for medical school so far. Like, I don't know everything, but for sure, I highly recommend On King, which I mentioned already. That is what you can find on Reddit. I may be able to add it to my bio, so you can just click on it and download it right away, but it has pretty much everything. It's like a nationwide deck that can be used for all medical students when studying for the board's exams, or you can just use it for just school in general. Like, you can be used for your lectures or in addition to your lectures as well. So I highly recommend this deck. Let me show you, for instance. Okay, preview. So along with that, rabies virus is also commonly carried by skunks in the Western US. So that's this one. And then you have first aid and sketchy already implemented onto the card so that you don't even have to even use a separate textbook. Like, if you want to just see it right away, you click on first aid, sketchy. I'm not sure if I can show you it right now because it might be copyrighted, but that is what has been great about On King. Everything's implemented in one. The other one I highly recommend is for anatomy, you guys. I love Dope Anatomy. That is what I used in medical school, and it was, I did very well. I did very well in anatomy because of Dope Anatomy. And this is another deck that I could add to my bio, so I'll probably add it to my bio for you guys. It can be found on Reddit as well. So I would just type in, you know, different areas that I'm working on in anatomy, and I'll unlock all those cards. And yes, it would be a lot of cards, especially when I first started out, but it was the best thing ever. And if you want to preview it, we have this. It'll point to an area, and then you'll go here. I'll give you the answer, and yeah, these photos are amazing. I did amazing in my practicals, and that's where basically you just have to, you know, go around the cadaver lab, and they point out different parts of the body, and you have to be able to get it in a minute. So I loved Dope Anatomy. And then also down here, if you go to Dope Anatomy, wait, let me see, Dope Anatomy, it actually gives you the breakdown of different areas. So if you want to just do head and neck, you can do Command A, Command J. And then also I recommend the pre-made decks that your school has. So for me, I have all of these. But definitely, you know, when you first get there, or even maybe even prior to getting to medical school, you can ask someone if they have pre-made decks. You can download it onto your Anki, and you'll have it ready to go. All right, you guys. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that tutorial of how to use Anki. Now I'm just gonna give you guys some great tips when it comes to Anki and what I've done. So I did mention this already, but making sure that you do your Anki cards every day is essential. Like, I highly recommend, if you're gonna do Anki as your routine, you have to commit to it, okay? It's not like, okay, I do it this day, I won't do it for 3 days, I'll do it again. No, that is not how it works, and you will not be following along with the algorithm that Anki has for you if you do it that way. So highly recommend every single day you do it, because if you don't, you'll get super overwhelmed because you'll wake up and all of a sudden you'll have like 3,000 cards because you missed 3 days. So that is not something I recommend at all. So yeah, that's one. Number two, guys, is just to make sure that you change the settings to work best for you. So I showed you guys my settings, but you know, you can look into what other people are doing, what other students are using for their settings, and find out what works best for you. You can change it along the way. If you find out while you're studying that you actually like it this way, you can do that. So I highly recommend just finding out what works best for you. Number three, guys, is to make sure that you're actively learning the cards. Like, you do not want to just aimlessly memorize a word. Like, for instance, you're just doing a fill in the blank. It's really easy to just memorize a single word in that sentence and be like, oh yeah, I know it, and then just click good. But you want to make sure you actually know the context of that card. You want to make sure you know what's going on. Look at the slides that you have, or look at the photos that you have in that card, and see if you really understand, like, what did you get out of that card? Like, what was the purpose of that information, and how can you implement it in a question? And then lastly, I also recommend doing practice questions as well, and just talking things out with friends sometimes. That's what I've done. Sometimes you're just doing Anki for so long that it's just like in your brain, but you don't know how to actually even talk about it or discuss it with someone. I wouldn't say that's the best way to go about it, because you never know what type of questions you'll get, and it can be, you know, very easy to just be stuck in one perspective of a subject or information, and being able to talk it out loud allows you to have different perspectives on it. And then you could also tell if you really know that information, if you can discuss it and have a conversation about it. So that is what I recommend, you guys. I hope this video helped you all. I know I've gotten a couple questions on it. So if you like this, definitely give it a thumbs up. Give me your feedback. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I thank you all. Thanks, Ambitious Fam, and I'll see you guys in the next video.